Is this me officially creating a booktube channel? I'm gonna say yes. I figured since I talk to my wall and everybody who doesn't want to listen about books all the time, I might as well talk to you, who wants to listen, hopefully. And what better way to start it off than doing a good old-fashioned Emily Henry reading vlog. I'm about halfway, a little more than halfway, through Funny Story. I've been meaning to start this video like before I started this, but here we are. So I wanted to take you through my experience with Funny Story, which if you don't know, Emily Henry is an auto-buy author for me. I absolutely love her. She specializes in pretty much just the best romance rom-com novels that I've ever read. Her and Abby Jimenez are like my top 2 romance authors. I absolutely love every book that they create. But yeah, so I wanted to take you through my whole process of reading this. I have loved it so far. At this point, I don't think it's in like the top 3 of my favorite Emily Henry books, but it's still really good, and I'm leaving room for Miss Girl to surprise me at the end, like she always does. If you don't know anything about this book or really anything about Emily Henry, I would advise you not to start with this one so far. I would do publication order, so I would start with Beach Read, and then after that, it doesn't really matter. But as far as this book goes, it really is a funny story.
We have Daphne and Miles, and essentially Miss Daphne was about to get married, and her man goes on his bachelor trip weekend, and he comes home and tells Daphne that he is in love with his childhood best friend, that there's nothing ever gonna be going on with her. Yeah, so suddenly they're getting married.
Crazy.
And so Miss Daphne, who has built her entire world around this man, is now stranded, doesn't have a house, doesn't know where to go. She's in a town that she moved to for him, and she just doesn't really know what to do anymore. She doesn't know who she is, she doesn't know what she wants. And so, of course, her only option is to move in with
her ex-man's new girl's ex-boyfriend. Are you tracking? It's like she left her man for him and then he left her girl for her. So this guy's stranded and Daphne's stranded. And so Daphne moves in with the ex-man, also known as Miles, and now they are roommates to lovers, if you will. Okay, the banter is so good. And essentially she
plops us right down in the middle of this story. I don't want to give too much away, but essentially she plops you right down into the middle of this chaos where Daphne and Miles are both brokenhearted. This came out of left field for them. They never really felt 100% certain that they were supposed to be with their other people, but they didn't really see any other option. And so here we are, we find them finding themselves again and finding love again, and yeah.
So far it's pretty good. It definitely, like, it is very fast-paced because she just puts you right in the middle of what's going on. Like, right when you open this book, you know her man left her, he's getting married to his childhood best friend, and all of a sudden she's living with this new man who is also a recent ex, okay? And so far it's just been really good. So I'm gonna take you along this journey, and then after I read this, I think at the end of the video, I'm going to do an Emily Henry ranking. She's written 5 books, and so I'm going to update my official ranking system because I have a very clear ranking of the first 4. So I'm very curious to see where this one will fall. For those of you who are new here and don't know me, I also have a Bookstagram and a BookTok. I hate saying those out loud because it sounds cringy, but you know what I'm saying. And I also bookbind on the side, so I have a little bookshop. Let me show you. If you're a fan of the Throne of Glass series, I pretty much specialize in rebinding the Throne of Glass series. That is what I spend most of my time doing when I'm not being a barista at a local coffee shop. So that is what I do. I'm also getting married in 43 days. So there might be a little pause in the content right when I'm picking up and starting because obviously I'm getting married. The ring in question. But yeah, so I mostly read romance and fantasy. I do count audiobooks towards my reading goal, so if you have an issue with that, time to go. But I mostly listen to romances. This is a very rare occasion where I'm just reading a romance because I find it that I get bored a little too easily. It's a little too predictable. It's really easy for me to listen to those as audiobooks, whereas with fantasy like Throne of Glass or, you know, whatever other books I'm hoping to tackle Brandon Sanderson this year, those would be books I physically read because I need to pay more attention. I'm 22. I obviously love books, okay? I turned 23 right before my wedding. What else? Oh, let me give you a backstory on my reading journey. So all growing up, I was obsessed with reading, like literally could not put a book down. You never found me without a book, especially in middle and high school. Absolutely loved them. Then went through college, graduated, didn't really read a lot because who has time during that? I kind of forgot how much I loved it. And then at a coffee shop I used to work at way back, this girl comes in, she starts telling me about A Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm like, that sounds interesting. Let me just pick it up. When I tell you I've never put a book down since. I've never put a book down since then. Okay, so I read A Court of Thorns and Roses, then I was like, oh, okay, so I didn't even know Throne of Glass existed. I jumped right into Crescent City. Someone check my mental health status, okay? Right into Crescent City. That kind of put me in a reading slump because I was like, I don't really understand. Now I love Crescent City, but at the time I was like, yo, what just happened? Then I read Throne of Glass. I still think about Sam Cortland every day. I still think about Gavriel every single day. I want to know what Lorcan did. I have a lot of questions. That series lives in my brain every single day. I think I would pick Throne of Glass over A Court of Thorns and Roses for the plot, but I would pick A Court of Thorns and Roses romance over Throne of Glass. Does that make sense? I am rambling, but I want you to get to know me. But yeah, I think this channel is just going to be a lot of like reading vlogs, doing book things, maybe mixing in some of my small business. I do bookbinding. I also like sell like fun stickers. Like I made all of these ones. There's like ACOTAR themed ones and Throne of Glass themed ones and Fourth Wing and just fun little things. And I also make little Kindle charms. I don't know if you can see really good, but it's a little bow. But yeah, and it's just been really, really fun to have a lot of friends that love reading also. And so yeah, I'm really excited to do this with you. I don't entirely know what this video is going to consist of. I think just reading this book and giving you my thoughts as we go, and then also just my Emily Henry rankings. But yeah, as I start this, let me know what videos you'd like to see, if there's like book hauls you want to see or book rankings or like my recommendations for certain things or whatever. I would absolutely love to share those with you. I have very few ideas for videos so far because this is my first go around, and then also I hate where I'm filming right now, okay? The lighting, amazing. The placement, not good, because my fiance is in the middle of moving all of his stuff over to my apartment, okay? And there is just stuff everywhere, okay? And my bookshelf is up literally right in front of me, but if I were to face you in the way that you could see how pretty this wall is, I would look like the Corpse Bride, okay? I would look like a ghost, completely backlit, so I don't really know what to do, so thank you for bearing with me with all the cords in the background. Just ignore them. You don't see it. You don't see it. Okay? Let's get going. I'm on my way to go get an oil change, so I'm hoping that they take a little bit longer than I'm expecting them to, so I can get some of this done and have no distractions, because the way that I'm in a reading slump, like literally someone help me. So let's see how much I can get done. Is it that every time you go for an oil change, you end up spending like $200 more on like things you need? I walked out with 2 new tires. Sue me. I am just a girl and I don't know how to say no. Now that we've spent all that money, might as well go get a coffee too, you know what I'm saying? To fuel me finishing this book today, if possible. I think I have like... Not me filming in the car, just give me a second. Okay. Is there anyone behind me? That's where I am. I'm on page 276, and I think there's like another like 100+ pages, I think. I've been reading so freaking slow because I get married in less than 6 weeks. And so every time I go to read, I think, oh shoot, I haven't planned that yet, or I haven't picked that up yet, or something, because I'm so stressed out. But it's okay. It's literally okay. Not me going out of the house without my engagement ring. I am the worst. I'm the worst, and you can't convince me otherwise. Anyways, back to reading after I get this stupid coffee, but apparently they're offering $3 drinks. Hold on. This person is like, yo, be for real? They're offering $3 drinks between 12 and 6 on Mondays? Today's Monday, so, you know, We love to hear that from me. It is the next day. I made such little progress. I don't know why I'm in the worst reading slump ever, but we're going to get through this. And then I'm like, wait, is it me? Why is my camera unfocusing? Like literally I'm trying to figure out if it's me, if I'm just like in a slump, or if this book really is just kind of slow. I can't figure it out. But I mean, like, I'm interested. It's just not like keeping me interested. Like I can stop reading pretty easily, which isn't like typical for me, if that makes sense. But my plan is to sit here and finish it tonight. I worked all day. And then I came home and I meal prepped for like 3 or 4 hours. And then I packaged some orders I had to send out for my bookshop. And now it's 8:30. I'm in bed for the night. I have to go to bed kind of early because I do work early in the morning. But I'm really, really, really gonna try to finish this. So let's attempt that together. Yeah. I have finally finished Funny Story. It took me embarrassingly long to finish this, but also I've been in the biggest reading slump ever, which I have discussed probably this entire video. I think that I've settled on a solid like 3 to 3.5 stars for this book. This does not mean that I didn't like it. I'm gonna go ahead and say mild spoilers, but like not really anything that's gonna spoil anything major. So just beware if you're really funny about that. I would just skip over this part of the video. The problem here is that this is by far Emily Henry's best work, in my opinion. It's so hard because this is a good book. It's just that I think I personally prefer like reluctant allies to lovers or like enemies to lovers more than just like he's a really sweet guy from the get, and that's toxic of me. That is so toxic of me. I agree with you, but in a book, I'm looking for a relationship more like this, where it's like they're not really about it and then they fall in love. I don't know, it just hits harder. This book is really good. Now, I will also say all 4 of Emily Henry's other books I listened on audio. I have a much better time listening to just simple romance books on audio because I typically read fantasy, and so when I'm reading, like physically reading, I'm looking for some crazy deeper plot, and with a romance novel, it's just not there, and that's awesome as like a palate cleanser for me, but it's very rare that I physically read a romance novel, so that could also be the reason why this didn't hit. Now, it's not that it's bad. Like 3 stars is not a bad rating. I think everybody like misuses or like mistrusts like what a 3-star rating is. It literally, to me, it just means it's a good book. It just wasn't like the best. Like I had an enjoyable time reading it. It's just not anything to like write home about, if you will. Here is my Goodreads little review that I did, a little screenshot of that. It's really hard because I love Emily Henry, and by no means am I saying that this is a bad book at all. I think you should read it. I think if you like Emily Henry, the banter is amazing. The character development is amazing. Like she did some really, really strong character analysis, and just like going through mental health issues with both Daphne and Miles. And I think that it went really well. It's just the actual romance plot felt almost to me almost too obvious from the beginning. Like we knew what was gonna happen, if you will. The 3rd act breakup was like a page long, which personally I hate 3rd act breakups anyway, but if they're gonna be there, they need to be there. It needs to be a little bit more of like you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I liked the book. It just isn't, it's definitely not my favorite Emily Henry book. So now we're gonna do my final ranking of Emily Henry books. I'm gonna go with People We Meet on Vacation on the bottom, just because it's been like 2 years since I've read these though. Because it really could be Funny Story on the bottom for me. I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and go with my gut. People We Meet on Vacation, then Funny Story, then Happy Place, then Book Lovers, then Beach Read. Beach Read and Book Lovers are definitely my top favorite from Emily Henry. They just are such good. They're just such good books. Now, mind you, it has really been like almost 2 years since I've read the other ones. So give me some grace. Or like, I guess a year since Happy Place since that just came out, but it's been a while. All to say, it's been between a year and 2 years since I read all of these. So my rankings could change over time if I do reread them. I did reread Beach Read like 2 months ago, and it always, Gus and January just stay in my brain constantly. It's just such a phenomenal book. And because it is such a phenomenal book, it kind of set the rest up for failure. Not in a bad way, but it's like everything in my mind has to compare to Beach Read, which is probably just a character flaw in me. But anyways, this is the final ranking. By no means am I saying that this is a bad book. Please read it, please enjoy it. Honestly, all of these are amazing reads. If you're a romance lover, like Emily Henry is top tier. Abby Jimenez is my top favorite romance author, but second place is Emily Henry, and she always hits. Her banter's amazing. The relationships always end up in a really good spot. Like you're having a good time while reading this, but as someone who always has like a deeper plot in mind or like something other than just the romance story, it's hard for me to just read, like physically read romance novels, so I'm a little bit of a harder rater for romance novels, if that makes sense. All to say, I did have a good time. Emily Henry doesn't miss. Again, it's not a bad book. It just doesn't hit like Beach Read, and I think that's why a lot of people are criticizing it, because Beach Read is just such a phenomenal book. And I'm about to release an Emily Henry rebind set, and so be on the lookout for that. But I had such a good time reading with you this week, and give me all of your suggestions of other books I should read, other videos you'd like to see. I am starting an ACOTAR reread, so if you would like to see that. There's just a lot of potential on this channel, so I'm so excited. Please remember to subscribe. It always helps, especially with new channels. And I love you guys so much, and I'm excited to read more with you. Bye!